Hello viewers, you're watching Vietnam News Agency's Bulletin broadcast daily from Hanoi. Up next are the headlines. Prime Minister urges further press renovation on the occasion of Revolutionary Journalism Day. Vietnam shows off products at Africa's biggest trade fair. Vietnamese people and culture are featured on French television. Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc had a meeting with leaders and journalists from press agencies in Hanoi on the occasion of Revolutionary Journalism Day, June 21st.
Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc asked media agencies nationwide to make ceaseless renovations so as to further promote their core role in providing information for the people. He said, journalists must be continually innovative and creative to find out new methods and contents in order to meet the people's demands, adding that the success of the press contributes to protecting the party and the socialist regime, as well as developing the country. Hailing journalists' efforts over the past years, he noted that the increasingly complicated regional and global situation requires more attempts of the media in the cause of national protection and development. He expressed hope that Vietnam's revolutionary press will continue to effectively popularize the party and state's policies and laws, while rejecting wrongful allegations and creating social consensus. The Prime Minister also called on journalists to join the Cabinet's efforts to build a professional and modern administration system and an incorruptible, transparent, and effective government. The press should also make more contributions to the reform of administrative procedures to better serve people and businesses, he added. During the meeting, reporters also voiced their proposals to the government on how to enhance the efficiency of coordination in carrying news on the government's activities, as well as specific policies to increase the effectiveness of the media system.
Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc asked the authorities of the Central Highlands province of Đắk Lắk to boost economic restructuring in a more practical manner during a working session with local leaders on June 21st.
The government's leaders suggested the locality pay heed to fostering agricultural production, seeking and expanding markets for farm products, and running campaigns to promote agricultural products and trademarks. He also required Đắk Lắk to examine its land fund and mechanisms to reasonably distribute cultivation land to locals towards facilitating agricultural production and private economic development and improving locals' living conditions. He underlines the necessity for Đắk Lắk to well perform ethnic and religious policies and encourage startup activities, while taking measures to improve its investment climate and provincial competitiveness index. Chairman of the Provincial People's Committee, Phạm Thị Nghị, said Đắk Lắk will focus on building new style rural areas in a practical and comprehensive manner, aiming to bring sustainable interest to local farmers. The locality will strongly invest in agricultural production and industries serving agriculture, as well as develop energy, services and tourism, he stressed. Đắk Lắk has been one of the localities hardest hit by prolonged droughts in the Central Highlands. However, it still maintains a stable socio-economic development.
Chairwoman of the National Assembly Nguyễn Thị Kim Ngân is on a working visit to the northern mountainous province of Cao Bằng. We have more in the following report. At her working session with the local authorities, Chairwoman Nguyễn Thị Kim Ngân spoke highly of Cao Bằng province's efforts in socio-economic development. She said amid difficulties facing a mountainous province, Cao Bằng has mapped out plans of action, having defined specific objectives and taken detailed measures to implement the targets. She praised Cao Bằng for its pioneering in seeking market demand for its farm produce and urged the province to address its shortcomings, including slow economic restructuring. Earlier the same day, Chairwoman Nguyễn Thị Kim Ngân had a working session in Hòa An District's Nam Tuấn Commune. Nam Tuấn Commune has made achievements in new rural lifestyle building program, with its rural roads being upgraded and local people's living standards being improved. The chairwoman asked the locality to make a greater effort to further improve living conditions for local people. Earlier the same day, Chairwoman Ngân and her entourage visited the Park Bo National Relic Site, where President Ho Chi Minh lived and worked between February and March 1941. Vietnam's premier products have attracted much interest from visitors at the Southern African International Trade Exhibition in Johannesburg City. Let's take a look.
The 23rd Expo drew nearly 700 businesses from more than 30 countries in Africa, Europe and Asia. More than 20,000 people have visited the biggest annual international trade event. 10 Vietnamese enterprises are showcasing their products at the Expo, including Dong Xuân Knitting Company, Thạch Bàn Choi Stock Company, and Delta Food Choi Stock Company. Other goods on display are housewares, furniture items, silk, ceramics, confectionery, and beverages. Statistics released by the Vietnamese Embassy showed that trade turnover between Vietnam and South Africa reached $1.2 billion, a bright spot of the Southeast Asian countries' economic activities in Africa.
Vietnam should complete labor standards and relations in order to fulfill its commitments to employment and trade union in the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, to which the country is a signatory. This suggestion was made at a workshop in the central city of Da Nang on June 21st.
Participants underlined the need for Vietnam to satisfy labor standards and relations stated in the Declaration on Fundamental Principles and Rights at Work 1998 of the International Labour Organization, to which Vietnam is also a member. At the same time, Vietnam was advised to assess the agreement's impacts on sectors and businesses, while seeking specific measures to maximize opportunities afforded by the pact. They noted that joining the deal will help Vietnam speed up the perfection of the market economy mechanism, the restructuring of the economy and workforce, as well as the transformation of growth model. Others said it is necessary to ensure occupational health for female workers and lift the regulation banning women from certain jobs. Apart from integration and development opportunities, the agreement will pose great challenges to trade union organizations, especially in fulfilling employment commitments.
The Vietnam National Coal and Mineral Industries Group, Vinacomin, said it produced 15 million tons of coal in the first 5 months, a decrease of 6% year-on-year. Of the total, 14.7 million tons were consumed, equaling the figure for the same period last year. The group explained that the slightly lower yield was due to lesser demand for high-quality coals, particularly from cement and steel producers. Vinacomin products are now mostly used in the electricity sector, the group said, adding that the production reduction have little effect on the life and work of miners. Vinacomin has also imported coals for domestic processing and cutting stops. The company anticipated that production and consumption in June would hit 2.9 million and 3.4 million tons, respectively. Vietnam raked in $6.37 billion from exporting computers, electronics and components in the first 5 months of 2016, a year-on-year rise of 6%. The figures have been announced by the Ministry of Industry and Trade.
These products were shipped to nearly 40 countries and territories worldwide, including China, the US, the Netherlands, the Republic of Korea, and Japan. From January to May, China was the largest importer of Vietnamese computers, electronics and components, with purchase turnover hitting $1.12 billion, making up 17.6% of Vietnam's accumulated export value and up 12.9% against the same period last year. It was followed by the US and the Netherlands, with purchase values reaching $1 billion and $642.3 million, respectively. Exports to other markets like Hungary, Slovakia, and the Republic of Korea also grew sharply during the reviewed period. However, the figure decreased in such markets as South Africa, Turkey, and the United Arab Emirates.
Ho Chi Minh City's economy in the first half of this year grew stronger than the same period last year, especially in the fields of services, industry and agriculture. This information was released at the Municipal People's Committee meeting to review the city's performance across the fields in the first 2 quarters.
During the reviewed period, Ho Chi Minh City's gross regional domestic production was estimated at $21.46 billion, up 7.47% year-on-year. According to the Department of Planning and Investment, total retail sales of goods and services and export revenue were higher than the corresponding time of 2015, significantly contributing to local economic growth. Despite the high economic growth rate, leaders of the city stressed the need to seek more efficient and specific solutions in order to achieve an economic growth of at least 8% in 2016. From January to June, Ho Chi Minh City saw the establishment of 16,322 new firms, with total registered capital of 114.6 trillion dong, while 23,718 existing firms added 74 trillion dong to their capital, pumping a total of nearly 219 trillion dong or $9.85 billion into the economy, representing a year-on-year increase of 45.9%. Meanwhile, foreign investments in the city contracted remarkably, with only $780 million in newly registered and additional foreign capital, down 35.1% compared with the same period last year.
The European Commission is making available €2 million, roughly 50 billion Vietnam dong, in emergency relief to communities affected by the drought and saltwater intrusion in Vietnam since the end of 2015. Channeled through the European Commission's Humanitarian Aid and Civil Protection Department, the aid will allow the EU's humanitarian partners to introduce relief initiatives to alleviate the burden of the most at-risk populations in heavily impacted areas. The funding will focus on addressing the most urgent needs, which include food assistance as well as access to safe water and good hygiene practices. The ongoing El Niño-induced dry spell has affected 39 of the country's 63 provinces and cities, triggering widespread water shortage and parching vast areas of farmlands in the predominantly agricultural country. As a result, an estimated 2 million people have been deprived of access to safe drinking water, while 1 million people are in urgent need of food assistance. All localities in the Mekong Delta, Southern Central and Central Highlands regions have borne the brunt of the irregular climate patterns, with some 400,000 hectares of cropland impacted with varying degrees of productivity loss. A movie clip featuring the uniqueness of Vietnamese land and people through the eyes of French reporters has been aired on France 5 Channel's tourism program. The clip titled Luxury du Vietnam, Vietnam's Smiles, was shot by the reporters through their film trips to the country. The warm smiles of all women, the charming of the UNESCO-recognized Hoi An Asian city, the busy streets of Ho Chi Minh City, the images of the country's traditional long dress and conical hats, all represent the beauty of Vietnam. The tourism program, A Chape Bang, is broadcast every Saturday to introduce to viewers different destinations in the world.
Le Vietnam, c'est surtout un gros coup de cœur en perspective.
And that has come to the end of our program. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.